Hello everyone. I think I'm live now. So welcome back to day 2 of our Deep Soul Healing event. I am super excited for you guys. I'm super excited myself to be here, to continue sharing with you. And today is going to be special, very special. We are going to do different things compared to yesterday. So get ready. Get ready to travel a little bit more inside yourself today. But before we jump in, I wanted to ask you, first of all, well, tell you actually that I'm so excited to see you all here. And whoever is joining me live, again, please say hello, say something to me so that I can see that if we can communicate. And I will open my screen as well on my computer, because yesterday, unfortunately, it was not really possible. So let's hope that today it's a bit different. So please comment something to me, say hello or whatever you want, so I can see if whether I can see your comments or not. So yes, today, before we plunge into the day 2 content, I first of all wanted to ask all of you guys, how are you doing? How are you doing? How did your day go with this new awareness that you have acquired about yourself yesterday? How did your homework go? Did you do it? Did you not do it? I'm super excited to hear the news. Okay, I can see again that I don't see the comments on my screen, but I can see them on my computer. So again, I will be switching between screens, guys. Well, we do with what we can, right? Okay, so please tell me, how did your first day go? As yesterday we were covering, well, I tried to make the yesterday day more like an introductory day, of course, for you to understand what soul wounds are, how they happen, like how we acquire them, and also gain your own awareness of what kind of wounds you might be carrying, okay? So please let me know, how did it go for you? So hello Jordan, you're the only one who popped on my screen, so I'm saying hello to you. Okay, so do you feel excited about today? Well, of course, if you feel like you want to share your day, please share. If not, we can move on, and we will always come back to you sharing your experiences anyway. But I hope you did your homework. I hope you went through your day with a different pair of eyes, you know, that you went through it paying attention, where do you react from, potentially from your wound, okay? So hello Kay, nice to see you here. Okay, so today I'm excited because we're going to talk about beliefs that we create around our soul wounds. And why am I so excited? Because for me, this is basically the foundation of how we start healing, how we start the healing process. Because once we realize what kind of shitty story we started telling ourselves around our wounds, once we realize how they affect us, how they have been affecting us for some people for years and years and years, for decades, right? We already shift right away our perception of these beliefs. We want to change them, you know, like our mind is wired for us to thrive in life, actually. So when the mind sees that there is a possibility of a positive change, it will take it. Just most of the time, unfortunately, it doesn't see it. So that's why when you realize what kind of stories you say, you start changing your perspective. You open yourself up for healing, for change, so that magic can happen, right? That's why I'm super excited. Hello ladies. I see that we have Carmelida, Georgian. I apologize if I don't pronounce your names correctly. Georgian, who I see that joined us. So I'm super excited for you ladies. Shannon is here as well. Hello. Okay, so well, as you learned yesterday, as our wounds create in early childhood, right? Early childhood experiences create our wounds. Sorry, I mixed it up. Early child experiences create our wounds, and early child experiences shape the beliefs, you know, around that we have about everything. And of course, I mean, if you have a very very positive experiences in your life as a child, you will create a very empowering beliefs around your, around yourself, around what is capable, what's available, what you're capable of, what's available for you in this world, and like around the world itself. But the problem starts when, of course, we have bad experiences, right? We start creating, unfortunately, really limiting beliefs. Like we start seeing ourselves as somehow limited, broken, maybe bad, and the world as a dangerous place, and people as, like trying to hurt us all the time. We start putting ourselves in this protective bubble because everything around seems hostile, and we seem really ill-equipped for the world, like to tackle the world. That's what happens with when we have the wounds. So not only we get wounded, but we create this toxic web of beliefs that really don't help us in our life. They literally like limit our capacities to be ourselves because we perceive it as dangerous. It limits our capacities to feel the real freedom because we define the kind of the borders beyond which we cannot go ourselves. We just tell ourselves, if I go there, it's a dangerous territory, it's unknown, I can get hurt. So we just kind of we become reclusive a little bit of our own little world. And of course, that's not the way to live the most fulfilling life, right? And the happiest life possible. And I mentioned to you yesterday briefly that our beliefs create our experiences. And that's the thing. Like most people actually think that we believe what we experience. But yes, the opposite is actually true. That we start experiencing what we believe. That's why the power of beliefs cannot be underestimated. And of course, whatever we believe, hello Alex, whatever we believe will influence the way how we will continue showing up in the world. Like, let's take an example. Let's think about something that you did like last time, I don't know, or let's say you're out to search for a job, let's say. So if the beliefs that you hold about yourself are, I'm super valuable, I'm an expert in my field, I'm just like anybody would be happy to get me, like whatever, you would probably go online, whatever your way of searching a job is, you'll probably go online and you will apply for jobs that really, really appeal to you. And you will have a very high confidence that you can get that job for yourself. And also, as you kind of embody your worth, you're very solid in your worth, your resume will reflect it, right? Your resume will be very appealing to the employers, which is why probably you'll find a job very fast, because all your beliefs back it up. But on the other hand, if your beliefs about yourself is that, well, I'm not such a great employee, and well, I'm not really good enough, I am not smart enough for that position, and on top of it, the market is not that generous right now, you might go and apply for the positions where you think you have the best chance to be hired. You might not necessarily go for the positions that you really want for yourself. And on top of it, again, your resume, as you don't think about yourself as a very valuable person, as the one who has a lot of gifts or things to give, you will be very shy in your resume, right? You will not put forward everything that you actually have because you are yourself not seeing it. So again, your resume will reflect that value. And again, your job search can stretch for a really long time, okay? That's how our beliefs affect us. They always affect our actions, our behavior, how we see things, and what we expect. This is the power of our beliefs. So this is why it's very important. And in both of these examples, you saw that how you would act reflects right away the way you believe. Okay. So and obviously, when we are wounded, like I told you yesterday briefly, when we are wounded, the beliefs we create around our wounds are mostly very negative. They are mostly based in something is wrong with me. Hello Mariana. Something is wrong with me. I am not worthy. I am, depending of course on your wound, you might say different things, right? Like I cannot be myself. I'm so ashamed of myself, or like I'm really a bad person, this kind of stuff. Like your beliefs around your wounds are really, really negative most of the time. And how it kind of shows in your life, apart from the actions that you take, it also shows with a non-stop negative talk inside your head. Okay, you keep talking to yourself in a very harsh way, and I'm saying that from my personal experience. I have been talking to myself in a very, very harsh way, and often, like, without even realizing it. So often you would just feel shitty, and you wouldn't necessarily even know why you feel shitty. But the reason is because you're talking to yourself in your head all the time. It happens all the time. It happens some very, very often outside your awareness, which is why bringing your awareness to your thoughts is super beneficial. It's super beneficial to also have a glimpse into your beliefs. And that's what we will start with today. Okay, we are going to start with the very first exercise. Okay, so for that exercise, I invite you already to sit back in your chair and just simply close your eyes. And trust the process, of course. Play the game, right? So not just watch. As I told you yesterday, engage actively and be here. So close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, like filling your chest as much as you can with air. And then letting the air out. So breathe in through your nose, deeply and completely. And breathe out through your mouth. Take a couple more breaths at your own pace to simply relax and bring yourself here and now. And then allow your breath to settle into its own natural pace. And turn your awareness to your mind, to what's happening inside your head. And simply allow all your thoughts to flow through your mind. Just observe them without any judgment, without getting attached to them. Simply observe how they are floating through your head. And just listen without filtering. Whatever is passing through your head, just listen. And usually, in our head, we have three types of thoughts. We are either planning something, or remembering something, or describing something. And at the same time, while we're doing that, there's a constant process of judging that's going on. Judging what you're planning, what you're remembering, or what you're describing. Okay. So just listen what's happening to you right now. Listen to your thoughts. What thoughts pop into your head? What judgment are they carrying? What are they infused with? What is your general state of mind right now? Is it positive? Is it negative? Or is it neutral? Take several seconds to just come to that awareness and register it for yourself. And then when you're ready, come back here and share with us. What are the loudest thoughts that you had right now, that you heard right now, that were in your head? Again, of course, there's no obligation to share. I'm not forcing anyone to share anything, especially if you feel uncomfortable. I'm just calling you to be honest with yourself. So you don't need to share anything if you don't feel like. But again, I invite you to engage in the process. Okay? So what kind of thoughts could you observe right now? What were the loudest thoughts that you could hear? Hello to everyone who is just joining us. We were in the middle of a little exercise, so if you joined in the middle, you'll have to probably catch up from the beginning. Okay, so I see already Carmelita who said lots of self-judgment. It would be useful that you don't need to write it here now, but like write that self-judgment, what kind of self-judgment it is. Because whatever we say to ourselves, it's always based on our beliefs. So it will be really a good indication for you what is it that you believe about yourself. Okay? So what about the others? What about the other ladies? Or gentlemen, who, if we have any today, I don't think so, but it can happen. So Kay said, realizing that I often don't express my true thoughts and self-judgment. Okay. That's quite interesting. I'll wait for a little bit more. Yeah, okay, so Zosi said, hey, lovely lady, I'm just watching yesterday live and I will watch this after. Yes, Zosi, it's actually important that you watch a video from, in order. I think you watched the introduction video, so yeah, come back to the first day first and then come back here once you watched it. So I have Jordan who said, today and in that moment I felt calm and neutral. When you mentioned judging, that resonated with me a lot. I don't think it's self-judgment, but more towards other people. My boyfriend in particular, which acknowledging that I feel really bad about. Yeah, it's not always judgment about ourselves. No, it's just, when I meant judgment, is that we are judging something inside our head. Like we are passing our own judgment regarding events and whatever we are experiencing, okay? So I have, again, Carmelita who said things I should be doing that I procrastinate on. Okay. Lots of regret on past choices. Zosi, yes, thank you, Zosi. We will enjoy that. And today will be different compared to yesterday. Okay, so if whoever wants to share, please, ladies, feel free to share. But what I wanted you to draw your attention towards is that, first of all, it's kind of interesting to realize that you always have this thing going on in your head, right? Always like the flow of thoughts, the flow of judgments, something. It never stops, right? It's very interesting to recognize that and become aware of that because, as I said, most of the time we are not aware. And we have tons of thoughts. Like last time I did the training, I said like we have around 70,000 thoughts per day. And most of them are the same thoughts over and over and over, which of course like make you believe a lot of stuff about yourself because you keep repeating it over and over. And yes, most of the time it's not a friendly conversation in your head. And what we did right now, it's actually called thought mindfulness practice. It's very useful to become aware of what's going on inside your own head. What causes you to feel the way you feel, for example. What causes you to act the way you act. It's always in there, right? And if you do that exercise, like you can do it at any time, right? It wasn't even complicated. But if you do it at any time, like when you don't feel so good about yourself, it will give you awareness of why. Because I often hear people say, I feel stuck and I don't know why. And the answer is there. The answer is in your head because, the secret is really to paying attention to your thoughts. They are always carrying all the answers you need to know. Nobody else can give you the answers. I mean, of course, like if you come to me, I will help you realize what's going on in your head. I'll pull it out of your head, but you're also able to do it on your own. You don't need somebody else. And this is a very useful exercise that you can already keep for yourself and do it later. Okay? Another thing I wanted to point out here, why it's also like such an amazing thing to do for yourself, is that if you paid attention, I asked you to not be kind of plunged in your thoughts, but observe them, right? Without judgment. Just observe what's going on. And this is really the key, because most of the time we feel like shit or we feel stuck because we are like caught in the vortex of our thoughts. We cannot pull ourselves out of it. We are drowning in that negativity, right? But when you put yourself like outside of that vortex as an observer and you start simply looking at what's going on, it gives you huge awareness. It gives you control. It gives you like peace of mind for a second. And it gives you realization that you are actually not your thoughts. You are something else. And if you have been following me, then you would know that your true self has nothing to do with thoughts. Your true self is this pure consciousness that can be aware of what you think, of what you feel, of the body, but it's not these things. It's not the thought, it's not the feelings, it's not the body. It's outside, which is why you always have power. If you connect to that higher consciousness that you have by doing this exercise, you already regained a lot of power for yourself. And it always will bring you clarity about how to go forward, what steps to take, what needs to be changed, what kind of what kind of things you're telling to yourself that you should stop telling to yourself, and like change the narrative, change the story. Okay, having that awareness is like a huge, first of all, relief. It brings you a lot of calm. It removes all this emotional baggage and gives you clarity. So that's why I encourage you to keep that in your storage or whatever you have of your personal knowledge, just to come back to it from time to time. So I have Jordan who said, your thoughts don't define you. Love that idea. Yes, your thoughts don't define you. That's absolutely what I want to help you understand, that you are not your thoughts and they don't control you either. You control it. Like, you have control. You can pull yourself out of it. You can become, as I was saying yesterday, an author of your story and not the character who is playing the story, right? And that's a completely different perspective. Okay, so I love, actually, this is one of the things that I used to, I do a lot for myself. I used to do especially a lot. And I love combining that practice with also emotional self-awareness, emotional awareness. We're not going to do it now, but it will be part of the program that I'm going to share with you tomorrow. Well, I mean, I'll share it a little bit today and tomorrow. Because emotional awareness also allows you to understand what kind of emotions you're feeling. And why is it so important for people who have wounds? It's because very often when we are wounded as children, or even as adults, it doesn't matter when, of course it involves some kind of emotion, right? It always involves a very intense emotion. And as we grow older, this emotion is right away associated with pain. So we don't necessarily want to feel it anymore. Like, we kind of shut down that emotion inside ourselves and don't access. And sometimes it's negative emotions, but sometimes it can happen that it's a positive emotion. Like, for example, imagine like a child was punished for having fun. I don't know, he did something really fun when, I think I gave that example yesterday. He painted the wall, right? Or she painted the wall. And it was joyful for him. It was the expression of joy and fun. And he was punished for it. So for him, joy became connected to punishment right away. So he wouldn't want to feel joy later in life. Or he would have big trouble to dissociate the two and to experience joy without being like guilty or feeling shameful or feeling something bad. So this is why it's so important to have an awareness of your emotions and to allow your emotions actually to come to you. Because very often we end up simply blocking them, like disconnecting from them totally, while at the same time we can be absolutely emotionally overwhelmed without having, like, feeling that we have no control whatsoever around our emotional state, that they are just like consuming us. But this is not the case. And that's why the practice of emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, is also super, super valuable. And as I said, like, combining the two, like, it's very powerful. Okay, but I just wanted to mention to you that this is like a very important thing to know for yourself, why certain things need to be done. Okay, so I think even in the group there was a person who was questioning at the very beginning, who was asking, how do I deal with my anxiety, how do I make it go away? The thing about feelings is that you don't want to make them go away. You want to sit with them and listen to them and let them pass through you, instead of getting them stuck. Because when you want to get rid of something, as they say, what you resist persists. It's going to just sit deeper and deeper inside you, and it will get stuck and it will start poisoning you. That's why dealing with emotions doesn't mean you need to make them go away, right? Dealing with emotions means you let them pass through you without being stuck, okay? And that is like a very good skill to learn for yourself. Okay, coming back, that was a small like a step away from beliefs. So we are going to come back to beliefs. And we are going to dive deeper into what kind of beliefs our wounds usually create. Well, I mean, I already mentioned some of them, and today I'm going to give like a short list of beliefs. They are in no way it's an exhaustive list, because we are all unique. We all create our own beliefs around what happened, and there is no way of summing it all up, and having all the things that would be relevant for one person. But I wanted to give you some of those which are like the most common ones, so that also you can become aware whether that resonates, because we always know when something resonates. Right? When you hear something and you have like a little ping in your heart, you know that this is the truth for you. Or if you hear something that triggers you somehow, like positively or negatively, again, you know that this has some meaning to you. And that's like, you need to pay attention, okay? So, again, I invite you to listen. I'm going to go slowly. I will actually read them. So, because when I speak myself, I speak too fast. I might be very fast. So I'm going to read them to you slowly. And again, I want you kind of to put your hand on your heart in that moment and simply listen to what resonates, okay? So, the most common ones are: love needs to be earned. Love is not something that can be given. Bad things happen to me because I'm a bad person. I deserve it. I need to be perfect to be loved and to succeed in life. I don't deserve to have things I want. World is dangerous. People always hurt me. I'm not good enough. I'm broken. There is something wrong with me. Or very often, what's wrong with me? I'm shameful. And the last one is, I never belong anywhere. So that's what I wanted to share. As I said, these are the most common ones that our wounds create. And as every single one of us probably have like a mix of wounds and a mix of beliefs, it's like a toxic explosion, right? Like a toxic mix there. I didn't even want to actually separate them by wound, because it doesn't even make sense. But now I want you to really, as you listened, with your hand on your heart, what resonated with you? What do you already know 100% you're telling yourself? And I see that there is a comment from Kay who said, like, in one of the core wounds of humiliation, feeling joy is shameful. Yeah, yes, that is the big thing for people who experience humiliation. Because most of the times they were humiliated in the middle of something they liked, or well, they experienced extreme shame for something that they were doing where they were really expressing themselves. So yes, very, very often with the humiliation wound, people really cannot be themselves anymore. They cannot like go into the world and experience all the good things, because for them it's like, oh my God, I have been doing that as a kid and I was shamed for it and I was humiliated for that, and it becomes a huge block. So I see Carmelita said, I don't belong anywhere. Okay. What about the other girls? What do you have? Just to open up, because I am not, an exception of the rule, right? I also had some, and I told you that when I just started, I also had my own wounds. And for me, what really resonated is, I'm not good enough, something is wrong with me, and I never belong. These were the three things that I have been telling myself for a really long time. And they were really painful. Because again, as you can imagine, they were not helping neither me nor anyone who hold these beliefs. So what about you, ladies? What else have you heard? Okay. Kay said, notice I swallowed big when you said I'm not good enough. Well, just to kind of, not to reassure you, but just to say that this is a very common belief for many people. Like even the most successful people in the world still struggle with that. It's absolutely insane. And obviously, very like a one which goes hand in hand with this, I'm not good enough, it goes the imposter syndrome. Whatever you're doing, you're always feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to be discovered and they will know that I suck because I'm really not good enough. So this always, very often, go hand in hand for people. Okay, have new comments. So Shannon said, I can't succeed and I don't belong anywhere. I'm not good enough. What's wrong with me? Okay, you have a bunch, almost like me. Okay. Love needs to be earned for Kay as well. Okay. And we are going to talk about that a bit, I think. Maybe not. No, I'm mixing it. No, it's already included in the program, but yeah. But yeah, it's a big one. That love needs to be earned, and it shows in the way that I explained yesterday, that we try to do things for other people, to try to make them love us, to try to make them like us all the time. And that's why we kind of forget our own needs, forget our own wants, and we just lose ourselves in another person when we have soul wounds. Okay, so whoever wants to share, again, if you feel like, please do, because the more we open up, the more we allow that to flow through us, the more we recognize it, like the more we already gain power, okay? Because as I said yesterday, awareness is power. Like the more you're aware, the more you're empowered. And yes, coming back to beliefs. So what happens? I was talking a lot about the wounds and beliefs and how you show up in the world, but I didn't necessarily mention to you so much in detail what really happens, right? What does a life of a wounded person look like? What areas of your life suffer the most? Even though I said that all of them suffer, like to smaller or lesser degree, but still, most of the time, these kind of beliefs, they lead a lot to personal dissatisfaction, of course, loneliness, and sense of lack, sense of emptiness, and also victimhood. And I'm going to mention, to talk about that point a lot today, like in the second part of the training, because it's super important. And I know that many of us don't want to identify ourselves as victims, even though we are. But as long as you're in denial, of course, you cannot heal it either. And for me, it was a big thing too, so I will come back to that. But the biggest thing that our soul wounds fuck up, let's say, it's our relationships. They really, really lead to dysfunctional relationships, to having, like, for example, abusive partners or narcissistic partners, or codependency. This is like a very, very big theme for wounded people, these three things. And of course, we are kind of unable, depending on the wound we have, we are unable to leave these relationships. Like, especially if we are like a codependent person, the one who wears this dependent mask, you know, the abandonment one. They have big trouble living these kind of relationships. But even others, as we are wounded and we feel like love is never available, or like we are afraid of losing it, we are afraid that we will never get it. We are so low on our own self-value, self-worth, and self-esteem that very, very often we keep being in these relationships. This is like one of the biggest things. And to be honest, like I have joined, like a couple of days ago, I have joined 2 groups with like narcissistic abuse healing or something like that. It tore my heart. I left because I have been reading all of this. Well, women and men, there's no exception, right? We can all be narcissists, like there is no general rule. But I have been reading all those comments of all these people who were saying, describing things, and like asking what to do. They're describing a horrible relationship, a horrible mistreatment. Like my heart was breaking, and I was just like, yes, the only thing to do is leave. But they can't, and I know it, because the wounds they have are keeping them in that situation. And of course, unless they're healed, unfortunately, like this stuckness is going to prevail, you know, like you will not be able to see how. So the other thing, of course, as I said, the relationship is one of the biggest things that always suffers when we are wounded. But it's not the only thing. Of course, if you feel that you're not worthy of anything, like you don't have your own sense of worth, or like low confidence, low self-esteem, no self-respect, your career will suffer big time. Like you can say goodbye to promotions and all this kind of stuff, because you cannot show up as a person who has value, right? Because when we deny it inside ourselves, we just cannot show up in the world in a proper way. Another big thing that suffers a lot is health, actually. Well, your kind of well-being in general, not necessarily like well-being, sense of well-being, because we often sabotage ourselves from within. We just don't allow ourselves to take any steps to heal, any steps to get better. And like you would have like all the motivation in the world, but then it will just stop in a couple of days because of the inner self-sabotage, which is so strong for people who are wounded. This is like really big. And that was my next point, because I see Carmelita who wrote, for me, finances suffer the most. Yes, this is the big one. Why? Because money is attracted to power and worth and value. And of course, if you don't have any of that, because if you're a victim, you feel weak and you feel totally disempowered and worthless, money is not going to come to you. Money is going to run away from you like from like a burning house. So this is like another one of the areas that, yes, suffer the most. People with wounds have a lot of troubles attracting money, attracting abundance, just in general, okay? So, and if you combine that on top of it, like if you remember, I was talking about soul loss, right? That happens as well when we acquire our soul wounds. Soul loss happens, meaning that we have fragments of us which are lost. And it leads to us feeling quite tired because our vital energy is gone. Like we don't have so much energy in our body anymore, and we feel empty. You combine all the rest with these two things. Yes, like a burning house. You combine this with these two things, and taking action becomes really hard. Becomes like absolutely like a heavy burden on you. So, which is why becoming aware, first of all, of your beliefs is like the very most one of the first important steps in healing. Apart from awareness, of course, because awareness was the first step. Before you before you can change anything, you need to know what needs to go, right? What do you need to let go of? So yes, you need to really identify what beliefs are stemming from your own wounds. Like when I work with my clients, and like in the program that I'm going to talk about later, usually I do that by bringing you back to the event, like by bringing you literally back in time. We travel back in time to remember what exactly happened, so that people can, like I do it like in a light trance state, so you're basically still very aware, but your subconscious is guiding you there. So in general, you come back to the initial event, to the root cause of it all, and you can describe what exactly happened, what kind of beliefs you created, like what web of beliefs you created at that moment. Okay, so for me, this is the easiest way to bring people back there and just remember. But this is kind of this will be part of the program, as I said. But for today, we are going to do something else, because like once you defined what beliefs you had, you can of course then transform them, work with them. But today we are going to do a little bit something different, because no matter when they were formed, no matter when they were born, they still keep affecting your life, right? They're still active, they're still there, so you can still find them. Maybe not necessarily all of them, but you can still become aware of them if you simply look at your life, okay? And that's what we're going to do. As I said just before, that our beliefs don't affect every single area in like equally bad way, right? There are areas of your life which are better, like where you're kind of okay, and there are areas where like they are more in trouble, right? And if you remember yesterday, your homework was to think about the patterns, the repetitive patterns in your life, okay? Because we are going to come back to that right now. We are going to explore them a little bit more. So I'm going to invite you again for another exercise right now. Invite you to close your eyes again and go with the flow, okay? Don't try to resist it, just go with me and bear with me. So sit back in your chair. Take a deep breath. And really find a position for yourself where you feel really comfortable, where you feel really relaxed. And feel how with every breath you take, you become more and more relaxed, more and more peaceful, more and more present in here. And the outside world simply fades away, so that you can truly connect to what's happening inside you, here and now. And again, allow yourself to connect to your thoughts as an observer, to that constant flow that never stops inside your head. And I want you to think about one area of your life where you keep having these repetitive patterns. So maybe it's your career. Maybe you keep being passed on for promotions. Maybe it's your love life. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's money. No matter what it is, just pick one area and focus on it. And listen to what comes up. You'll probably feel like this flood of thoughts coming into your head right away. And so while you're listening to that flood, without drowning there, just listening, just observing, I want you to ask yourself one question. And listen again to what comes up. What beliefs about myself, others, and the world did I create out of these repetitive experiences? I will leave you some time. You might need to repeat it several times in your own head. But then just listen. And be really honest with yourself. As I said, you need to be honest to be able to recognize your own issues. So again, maybe you're saying, I'm not good enough. Maybe you're saying, I'm not worthy. I'm worthless. Maybe you're saying, I'm not cut out to be successful. Maybe you're saying, I will never have love in my life. Love is painful. Love hurts so much. Whatever it is for you, just listen. And I invite you to write those things down for yourself, because this is your gold mine. I will leave you a couple of minutes to listen and to write it down in your own notes, or if you have anything. And then, of course, if you feel comfortable, please share with us. No pressure. So if you're feeling brave enough to share, please share whatever you want. But even if you don't, I simply want you to acknowledge that you gained awareness. Okay, so I see Erica was the bravest one to share first and said love is scary and not trustworthy. Yeah, and imagine what it does to you. Yes, it's sad, and unfortunately so many of us make this conclusion. Because as you can realize, if you think that love is scary, we will not allow ourselves to fall in love, to let love in, right? So I have Jordan who said, afraid of failure. Okay. Well, this is not a belief, this is fear. So what I'm saying to yourself, exactly. Camille said, I don't deserve to have money, not cut out for success. Okay, this was Kay who said not cut out for success. Okay, so thank you for being brave. Thank you for being vulnerable. and opening up and sharing whatever comes. Again, as I was saying, I started to say that recognize that you are becoming aware, and with your awareness comes your power. Because the more you're aware, the more you can change. Okay? So you're already on your healing journey. And I can congratulate you for that already today. So, I think I left enough time for anybody who wants to share still. Please feel free. I will come back to you. I will acknowledge you. I see you, all of you. But what I wanted to tell you, that when it comes to shifting our beliefs, many people think that, yeah, we cannot change. It's very hard to choose our beliefs. It's like, no, it's impossible. I don't have a choice. But the thing is, this is not true. Because your brain always works for you. What do I mean by that? Is when you recognize how your beliefs influenced your life, like how they create all these events that you have in your life, you kind of open your mind to understanding that if I don't change it, this shit will keep happening, right? But if I do change, there are other things that might come into my life, beautiful things that might come into my life, right? So your brain starts having a choice. And as I said, your brain always works for you. It will always choose an option that is beneficial for you. So it will start working towards creating new beliefs. So all you need to do at that moment, when there is an awareness, like once there is an awareness of how it was impacting you, like in a bad way, you just simply choose, what do I want to believe instead? What would help me to achieve what is it that I want to achieve? Or like whatever desire that I have, what will help me to get that desire, right? And you just create these beliefs. You write them down for yourself. And you allow your mind to make that choice for you. And it will make that choice. Of course, you need to help it. Because when we start adopting new beliefs, there's another question to ask yourself. What would the version of me believing that thing look like? How would she act? How would she show up in the world? How would she react to certain things, right? So all these kind of things. So you need to start embodying your beliefs. You need to adjust your behaviors, adjust the way you look at certain things, right? Because you already have that inside you. You just need to, it's just a habit, right? It's a habit to look at the thing from that angle, but you can always just like shift a little bit and look at the thing from a different angle. That's how your beliefs work. So to change your beliefs, I mean, of course, I use my own stuff with my clients, right? Because I'm an NLP professional and I use energy work as well. So I combine both. So I rewrite beliefs for people, like we do the work together on a more subconscious level. But this is not the only way, right? You have the power to rewrite your own beliefs. It just needs to be a bit more of a work, like of a consistency, I would say, because you need to allow the new belief to kind of sink in, okay? But still you can do that. So, and you can choose which way is the most beneficial for you. Like if you go online, you will find ways to rewrite your belief. It's absolutely not like nobody's hiding that. So I wanted you to feel that you have that power. You have the power of choosing what you want to believe and then rewriting it for yourself, okay? This is going to be part of your homework as well, but don't worry for that now. I'm going to anyway recap all the questions that you would need to think about later on at the end of the training. But I will invite you to think about how your beliefs impacted your life so far and what would you be willing to let go of and change, okay? So let's move on for now. I will probably stop right now and ask you if you have any questions so far. If you have anything that came to your mind and you would want me to clarify, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy. If not, then we will move on. We will move on to that second part that I told you, where I promised you to talk about this victimhood. Because it's a very big thing. It's a very big thing, and this is also one of the foundations. Well, I call it a foundation before we start the healing process. Like, we need to build some foundations. And for me, this is one of the foundations. So if you don't have any questions, I'm going to go on in that. So as I told you, our wounds usually lead to the fact that they make us act like a victim, and always, very often, without our 100% awareness of it. Or, well, yeah, I kind of noticed a lot that victims like to be in denial, in a sense, because it hurts to realize that I have been acting like a victim, and people take it very harshly. When somebody confronts them and tells them you are acting like a victim, they are kind of taking it very harshly and start saying, no, I'm not, and you are just a jerk or whatever. So they kind of don't want to accept that fact. But let me explain what I mean by being a victim, because maybe like I had a wrong understanding of that myself until very recently, until I learned about it and I recognized it in myself. Because yeah, you take me like 3 months ago and you tell me, you're acting like a victim. Yeah, I would definitely probably spit into your face, because my belief was that I have been through so much shit in my life, I have survived, so I'm a strong person. I'm not allowing anything to kind of swoop me off my feet, and I'm not allowing anyone to walk over me. That was my kind of understanding. I'm not a victim, I'm a warrior. But it's not just that. It's just a small part of what it means to be a victim, and I'm going to actually tell you what it is. So when we are being hurt, like when we acquire wounds as children, what happens to us is that we're kind of imprinted on a subconscious level that yes, world is a dangerous place, people are going to hurt me, and we lose the sense of power over our destiny or any sense of control. Okay, and we really develop this impression that we cannot change anything in our life. We're so insignificant. We're so like no matter what we do, it doesn't move the needle in our life. That we kind of feel always stuck. Okay, and we always blame the outside world, like circumstances and stuff, for whatever is happening. And these are the things that kind of show up sometimes very sneakily in the way you are in the world, and sometimes very blatantly, like depending on the degree in which you are. Like for me, it was kind of sneaky, so that's why I didn't see that. But for other people, it can be really, really easy. But I'm going to give you several traits that you can see if something resonates, if you recognize yourself. And like I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any, that it was tough for me. It was a tough call for me to recognize that. I did not want to. So, but I invite you again to open your mind, to lower the shield, okay, to lower the walls, and just be honest with yourself. Because honesty with yourself, like when we're lying to ourselves, it's the worst thing ever, because we cannot come to our own truth, right? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 traits that I wrote down that I'm going to share with you. Okay. So first of all, victim is a person who thinks that things happen to them and not for them in this world. That basically the whole world is conspiring against them, and it's out there to get them, and that something outside of them has power over them. This shows in things like saying, like right now, for example, pandemic completely fucked up my business, or like in things like others affect my emotions. Like if somebody tells something, I become angry and blah, blah, blah. This is saying that somebody else has power over you and something happens to you all the time, okay? So the second thing is that victimized people tend to compare themselves a lot with other people and always find that they are less than others. Like they always find how they are less significant, less smart, less beautiful, whatever, like less, just in general, less than others. The third thing is that victims live very often in lack mentality, meaning that a general sense of lack is pervading their life, whether it's financial lack, their personal lack, like in terms of certain characteristics or personality or whatever, like lack of love, lack of connection, lack of relationships, lack of whatever you want, like a general sense of lack, they live in it, okay? So this was number 3. Number 4, it is a person who doesn't want to take responsibility for their life, so they always blame someone else for whatever happens to them. It's never their fault. It's never like, yeah, I screwed up and that thing happened. It's always like, It's the bad economy, it's the bad boyfriend, it's the bad boss, whatever you want. It's always someone else, but not me. So that's the trait number 4. Trait number 5. It's victims most of the time, like almost all the time, allow their fears to overpower them. Meaning that they allow the fears to run the show, and whatever decision they are making, they allow the fear to stop them, basically. Or they take a fear-based decision instead of love, okay? So this is trait number 5. And finally, trait number 6 is that victim is a person who engages in a lot of wishful thinking and complaining. Sort of things like, I wish I had been someone else, I wish I had another job, I wish things were different, but not necessarily doing anything actively to change things. So it's a lot of complaining, a lot of wishful whatever you want, but almost no action. So this is the trait number 6. And that opened my eyes, literally, onto my own victimhood. When I kind of recognized, like, learned about these 6 traits, that's where I was like, okay, girl. Yeah, it's time to recognize that you have been playing a victim. And it's time to take responsibility for that and stop doing that. Okay? So who recognizes themselves in here? And I know it's not easy. I know it's a tough blow to our pride, to our ego as well. But again, if you live in ego, you cannot live in your soul. You cannot heal your wounds, right? You cannot connect to who you truly are. So overpower your ego right now and just tell, where did you recognize yourself? Or not necessarily where, but whether you did. Whether one of them or several of them were there for you. Okay, Carmelita said, guilty. Kay said, oof, yep, the last one, wishful thinking. Okay. Erika said, me. Okay. Jordan said, definitely comparing to others all the motherfucking time. Shannon said, me. Okay. And I want to reassure you, ladies, honestly, I want to reassure you, there is no shame in that, okay? There is no shame. It's because it's not like you being the victim consciously and you were choosing to do that. No, it's your wound. Your wounds were running that program inside you, okay? But now that you're aware of it, again, your awareness increased, right? So that you can see, where have you been doing that, right? In the situations where you've been playing a victim, you can always tell yourself, okay, if it happens again, how do I want to react? Am I going to complain more? Am I going to say more of these things? I wish it was this, I wish it was that, or am I going to change? Am I going to shift my behavior, my perspective, my even my emotions related to whatever is happening, right? Because the thing about being a victim is that, first of all, unknowingly we hurt ourselves a lot. Because we keep doing that negative shit in our own head, which obviously hurts our sense of self-worth, sense of self-esteem, self-love, and whatever you want. So victims really hurt themselves a lot. And also because, well, they perceive everything as hostile environment, right? Like, look, in the world right now that COVID is going on, for people, it's really like, for people who are living in the victim consciousness, it's really a tough blow because they take it personally. They think it's like a personal attack against them, what is happening to the rest of the world. They don't understand that this is like a global thing. Well, they probably do, but they view it a little bit differently. They view it as if, oh my God, even like on top of everything I've had in my life, this had to happen. You know, this is the kind of mentality the victim would be in. And of course, like all those people who experience all this mental and emotional distress right now, it's because they're in the victim mode right now. And as long as you stay in that victim attitude, let's say, you will not allow yourself to take responsibility. Well, not that you will not allow, you will just simply not take responsibility for your life, and you will not start the healing process, which is why you need to recognize you are doing that first and decide, I'm stopping, because you can, because now you are aware, now you have that power, okay? And I've seen that happen so many times. I've seen that happen with people who come here to me, to my office, and who tell me, I want to change, I want my life to be different. And when it comes to the commitment part, like when you need to commit to yourself, most of the time people who have this victim mentality, they struggle. They really cannot commit to this they cannot commit to themselves. They cannot commit to make changes happen and not just think about them, dream about them, like fantasize, but don't not go any further than that. Okay, so this is why it's so important to snap out of this victim consciousness, like snap out of it as from a dream and come back to the reality of who you are. Because you're not a victim. You're a warrior. As I told you yesterday, you are a warrior. You are this powerful being, eternal spiritual being who has so much inside. And you just need to remember that. You just need to come back to that. Okay? What I wanted to share with you as well, I see that there's a question from Camilla. Can you please share the victim list later? I can share you now. I have it anyway, so that you can all have it. I will drop it for you. So what? Here you go. It will pop into the chat, I guess, soon. Yeah, it's there. So yes, what I wanted to share with you is, how do you snap out of it? What are the things that you need to, because I told you, you need to remember who you are, right? You need to remember the truth. Because right now, your wounds make you tell stories. They make you believe certain things about yourself that are not true. That's as simple as it is. And what I want to share with you is simply 5 fundamental truths that will help you to come out of that, like to embody new behaviors, to embody new you, the real you, okay? So, the first thing that I wanted to share, the first truth, I like to call it 5 fundamental truths, is that we are never more, less, or even equal to anyone on this earth. So, the comparison is impossible because we are all unique. We come here as the only single version. There is not a second version of you, so there is no comparison. It's impossible to compare something that's unique. So this is the truth number 1. Every single one of you is unique. Like they say, like there are no 2 snowflakes which are exactly the same. And exactly the same is applicable to every single person on this earth. We are all unique, like snowflakes. Okay? So the second one is that life is always happening for us. Meaning that the universe always wants us to expand, and it always has our back. Because the more we expand, the more the universe expands. And this is the ultimate goal of the universe, to expand. So, and even if some bad things happen in your life, it's not a punishment, it's not a karma, it's actually a call to step up and grow. It's just a reminder for you, okay, it's time, girl. It's time to remember your power. It's time to change things up. It's time to embody who you truly are. It's time to remember yourself, okay? That's what the bad things are about. It's always for you. So, this was number 2. The third thing is that fear will always be there. Fear is there to help us, to protect us. But you can still act when you feel the fear. Okay, you can feel the fear and do the things that need to be done anyway. You push through. You can always have a choice to either act from fear or from love. But you can choose to act from love more often. And just allow your fear to be there, to warn you about whatever needs to be warned about, thank it, and move on. Okay? This is number 3. The truth number 4 is the one that I like a lot. It's about abundance. And the thing about abundance is that abundance is everywhere. And to realize that, you just need to simply look in the nature, right? Because there's abundance of stars in the sky. There's abundance of water in the sea. There are so many water drops, you cannot really count them. There are a lot of grain of sand on the beach, right? It's a uncountable amount. So abundance is literally everywhere in the nature. And if you want to connect to the feeling of abundance, that's all you need to do. Look into the nature. And abundance is really, it doesn't mean that you have to pretend you have something you don't have. Like, it's not by looking in the mirror and telling yourself, oh yeah, I'm a millionaire. Oh yeah, I have a man of my life next to me. Or like, I'm successful. And not believing it at all and not having that you're going to feel abundant. okay? Abundance is simply recognizing all the things that you already have, expressing gratitude for them, and opening yourself up to receive more. Like being open to receive, no matter what it is, because abundance comes in all forms, right? Abundance is not just money. Abundance is love, it's health, it's beautiful relationships, it's money, yes, financial as well, but it's all of it. All of it is included in the abundance. So an abundance is literally about connecting back to what you love, to remembering why you're doing this, to remembering why it's important for you, and also like really opening yourself up to what excites you and to get more of that into your life. That's what abundance is about, and it's always available to you. Okay, so that was point number 4, the truth number 4. And finally, the truth number 5 is that forgiveness is your key to inner peace and freedom. That holding grudges against holding grudges against people who hurt you is only going to poison you more, because it has been proven scientifically that when we hold these negative emotions, especially grudge, it creates toxins in our body that poison our body, that undermine our immune system. So release all that. Forgive all the people who have ever hurt you, okay? It doesn't mean that you kind of said, yeah, it was okay what they did to me. No, it's not. It's never okay. But you are releasing yourself from that grip. That's what forgiveness is about. When you're forgiving someone, it's actually always about forgiving yourself too. And like stop blaming them for what they did and simply take responsibility for your life without any guilt or blame addressed towards yourself, okay? This is the truth number 5. If you start living and embodying these truths, they will help you get out of the victim consciousness, like bit by bit by bit, okay? That's what I wanted to share with you. And I think for some of you, probably for all of you, if you look deep inside yourself, you might be surprised to realize that you already knew some of those things. You already knew somewhere on subconscious level that this is true. And the thing is, it is true because your true self knows all these kind of things. Your true self knows that all of that is the part of universal truths. And the other things that you're telling yourself, you know, about people being bad or the world being a bad place or you being not good enough or like stupid or whatever you want, this is not the truth. This is just an illusion that you need to snap out. Okay? One of the last things that I wanted to share for you today is that we always have 2 parts inside ourselves. One is a wounded part that is scared to show in the world. And the other one, it's our true self, this empowered warrior that you have inside yourself. And the more you decide to act out of love instead of fear, the more you allow yourself to follow your intuition, the more you allow yourself to forgive others, the more you allow yourself to recognize your value, your inherent value and worth, just because it is your birthright, the more you will connect to yourself. The more you will feel that connection inside you, and you will feel that your power has always been within you. It has just been kind of hidden from you temporarily, but it's not lost. It's not like you're never powerless. You always have it. Even right now, even through all the wounds that you have, even through all the beliefs that you hold inside yourself, the power is there. There are just layers of stuff that needs to go. These lenses that you see yourself through, that I mentioned yesterday, they just need to go, but the power is always there. And like the more you start doing these things, the more you will come in alignment with who you are, and the more you will feel like that you are this empowered creator. You are limitless being with limitless potential, and you will remember why you came here, why you came to this earth, okay? But at the same time, if you keep, I know that many people do that, like they wait for some kind of divine timing, or they wait for the universe to give them the sign so that they can move forward, or they wait for somebody to come like and save them and help them and do something for them. You might wait honestly forever, and it might never come, because universe will always have your back, but you come first. You need to act first before the universe backs you up, okay? And if you don't do that for yourself, if you don't take that responsibility, you will keep reliving your beliefs. You will keep reliving in your wounds, and you will keep having all those experiences that you had so far, because this is the universe's way to tell you, okay, you need to heal that. And if you didn't heal it this time around, it will give it to you again, just to remind you, girl, you didn't work on that. So here you go again, the same thing. So it will keep happening over and over and over, okay? So you need to simply take the power into your own hands, like recognize you always had it, and start embodying it in your life, okay? So I want to invite you, ready to think right now. Who do you want to be going forward? Do you want to be a victim? Or do you want to be that warrior that is sleeping inside you? Who do you want to be going forward? And I invite you to think about that, and also think, what kind of stories do you want to rewrite? I have some comments. So I have Carmelita who said forgiveness. I had Journal who said loving truth number 4. I love it. It's one of my favorite as well, that it's always around us. Like we are floating in the field of abundance and love, and sometimes we're just not realizing. Carmelita said forgiveness is truly powerful and liberating. Kay said, wow, I think I've often waited for the universe to give me a sign for direction. Yes, but again, this is one of the things, yes, that show up as a victim. You know, like you wait for someone to act first, to come and tell you, yes, that, like, go ahead, right? This is like, of course, this is showing up as a victim. Carmelita said, I want to be a warrior. Good for you, girl. I am so happy. Make that decision, and make it like a firm decision for yourself, that going forward, I'm committing myself to myself, first of all, and to awakening that warrior inside me. Because it's asleep right now, but it's there. And you can do that, okay? So, the last thing that I wanted to tell you today, because I'm always done, and see, today we are a bit faster, so I'm happy about that. I wanted just to tell you that our wounds can keep us stuck in this scared part, you know, without even allowing us to see that there's an option, that we have always a choice, that we always can do something. But again, like, if you're here with me, if you have been with me since yesterday and you're still here today, you already know that there is this empowered part in you, right? And you already know that this part is available to you. And if you start connecting to that part, you will be able to create your amazing life. And this part is calling you to act. This part is telling you, I've been asleep enough. Let me wake up. Start taking action. That's what this part is telling you, okay? And the more you heal yourself, the more you remove all that, you know, like all that layers of conditioning and beliefs and stories that you tell yourself, the more your true self will come to the surface, the more you will connect to that power within yourself, and the more your life will transform. And again, it will also bring you a lot of sense of calm and peace. That's what happened to me, you know, like I really, that was the biggest shift. I felt like I came from a chaos in my head, in my life as well, to the sense of peace and tranquility, which was so, oh my God, I had so much energy that came back with that, you know. And I think this is like one of the biggest things that comes when you're truly in alignment with who you are, apart from creativity, like sense of your personal worth and all this stuff. Of course, it goes together with everything. So tomorrow I will be bringing together what we discussed, and I'll be sharing with you more of the things how you can heal, okay, more concrete things. But already today, I wanted to let you know, I wanted to share with you that if you were to decide to continue with me further after these 3 days, once we're done, there are 2 ways how I can support you on your healing journey. So I have 2 programs that I currently created. One of them is a group program, which is a 12-week group program, which is called Journey to Wholeness. And the second one is one-on-one program, which is 10 weeks, and it's called Coming Back to Soul. They are more or less the same, with the only difference, of course, that in the group, it will not be as personalized as in the one-on-one. And also in one-on-one, I have certain sessions that will be included, like, for example, trauma relief session, that I will not be able to do in group setting, because it's like very personal journey, very personal experience. Your trauma is personal to you, and the techniques I use, they have to be done like in person. So this is like the main difference between the two. And of course, and if you actually join the one-on-one program, you will also have the group one for free. It will be included in it. I'm going to talk about that more in detail tomorrow. I don't want to go into that for now, for today, but I am already going to drop you the link for for one of the programs, for the group program, because I don't have any description for the one-on-one. As I told you, it's more or less the same. I just didn't have time to create the whole thing. Just let me check. Okay. I will drop already the link to the group for you, group program I mean, so that you can check what it is about and feel whether it resonates with you. Okay? And if it does, if you know that this is for you, this is because both of the programs, they are for people who really want to heal their wounds, who want to come back to their power, who want to remember who they are, who want to improve their lives, especially in those areas that are really, really problematic, because that's where you would probably start. But at the same time, you know, it's really about simply coming back to your power, so that you can up-level your life on every single level. For me, this is what it means. Once we are in our power, nothing becomes impossible. Nothing is impossible anymore. Everything is there for you. So, and that's what these programs are about. So have a look at this one. If you have any questions for me, of course, feel free to message me. Or if you already know that you want to join, feel free. So this one, the group one, will be starting on the 1st of March. But if you decide to work with me one-on-one, it will be earlier. Of course, we can start already next week or whatever is comfortable for you. But the group program will be starting on the 1st of March. Yes, and the last thing, the price for the group program is 497 euro. For the one-on-one program, it's 3,000 euro. So just to have like an estimation for you. This is all. This is all I wanted to share for you today. Yes, questions for homework. Almost forgot. You have some homework to do for today. Where are they? You'll have a bit more than yesterday. You'll have 4 questions to think about. And I really, really encourage you to journal that. Again, not just think, you know, like in your head, but journal, because journaling has power. I think journaling has magic power. It allows you to really unfold, unwrap whatever is in your head. So I encourage you to journal that, to really sit with yourself and give yourself some time and do that for yourself, so that you can come back to your truth, so that you can come back to remember who you truly are and start living from that person. And of course, don't forget to, again, I already mentioned that yesterday, but don't forget that we still have a giveaway going until tomorrow evening, like Luxembourgish time, midnight. So you still have time. If you want to invite someone, please share the post that I put inside the referral post. And tag me. This is important. You need to tag me in order to participate. Okay, you need to tag me in your post. So thank you very much for being here with me. I'm super excited about tomorrow, because tomorrow again it will be a big day. We are going to do other things different from today again, but so that you can kind of be part of my world for a while, so that you can understand how I function and whether you can resonate with me, right? So it's all about that. But last thing, I almost forgot. For tomorrow, I will invite you to bring a candle or an incense, if you have any at home, because we will need that for the guided journey that we will do like closer by the end of the session. So if you have any, bring them and they will help you a bit more. If not, it's still okay. You can do without, okay? So thank you very much again for being here. Super excited about tomorrow. I see you all there, and I wish you all a very pleasant day, evening, or night, wherever you are. Okay, love you all. Send you a lot of love, lots of light, and see you tomorrow.